gentlemen, I am the one and only DJ Storms! And in just 2 days, live on the WWE Network, 2 tag teams will battle it out to decide who has the right of being called the inaugural NXT UK Tag Team Champions. Also, a mosh pit kid will look to rip apart the same woman that she beat to be crowned the first ever NXT UK Women's Champion once again. And finally, the Iron King will step up to claim his throne against the Bruiserweight for the world crown of NXT UK. But before it's time to decide the fate of the inaugural NXT UK Tag Team Champions, before it is time for the Iron King and the Bruiserweight to battle, before it is time for NXT UK TakeOver BlackPool, it's time for the rundown! Thank you guys so much for tuning in to yet another video right here on YouTube.com. As of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. This is the official rundown for NXT UK TakeOver BlackPool, which is streaming live on the WWE Network in just 2 days on Saturday, January 12th, starting at 7 p.m. UK time and 2 p.m. Eastern time. Now, a few things before we get into the matches. Number one, it's a pretty busy couple of months for me. I just got back from getting my books for my next semester at college, so that's going to be hell. So there's probably going to be a little less videos on the channel, mainly because of the fact that I got to focus on my schoolwork. But once May comes around, I'm kicking the brand into high gear once again, so don't you guys worry. Next, for those of you who are watching this a couple of hours after I posted it, I'm probably over in the Storm Stream lair because I am going to be doing a Storm Stream with my man Ethan Craddock. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. It's Cradduck. Craddock. Don't kill me, Ethan. Don't kill me, Ethan. But my man Ethan from the UK, he's going to be joining me for the 9th annual special edition Storm Stream that's going to be later today at 8:30 p.m. The drum room is still under remodeling. We got a lot of remodeling to do for the drum room, so I will keep you guys posted to see if that would be up in time for the Royal Rumble. If not, you know, we're going to find something. We'll find something to do for the Royal Rumble. Next, I have another Storm Stream planned for Sunday. I'm not revealing my guest yet. If I do have the time, I'm going to start promoting it. Hopefully I won't be working too late. Royal Rumble is going to be a pretty stacked pay-per-view, as well as NXT TakeOver Phoenix. Next month, we got the Wrestling Express meetup for the Elimination Chamber on February 17th, 2019, starting at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time at the Pub 46. I'm sorry. Tilted Kilt closed down. See, that I'm running in all different directions. Pub 46 in Clifton, New Jersey, on February 17th, 2019. I'm going to be there. Tommy McGrogan's going to be there. Glenn Davidson's going to be there. All the members of Wrestling Express are going to be there. Be sure to go on down to Pub 46. It's free of charge. Come on and hang. You could talk business with me. If you want to come on a Storm Stream, I'd be happy to have you on a Storm Stream. And finally, I'm still working diligently on getting tickets to the Raw after WrestleMania this year. And I want some people who are going to join me for some fan interviews. I interviewed some fans when I went to TakeOver Brooklyn 4 last year, and I look to do the same this year at the Raw after WrestleMania. Now then, enough of me babbling and promoting. Let's get straight into the matches. 5 matches set for this Saturday at TakeOver Blackpool. Let's start off by talking about the NXT UK Tag Team Championship match between the Grizzled Young Veterans and Mustache Mountain, otherwise known as Zack Gibson and James Drake, versus Tyler Bate and Trent Seven. First of all, if you did not see the 2 semi-final tag team matches between Gallus and Mustache Mountain, and then Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews versus the Grizzled Young Veterans, you need to check this out. You need to check them out. Both tag team matches. I think these tag team matches went like 10, 11, 12 minutes. And they were both better than anything that Monday Night Raw has given to us in the last 3 years. And I mean that wholeheartedly. But we have the Grizzled Young Veterans versus Mustache Mountain, and, you know, the unpredictability factor really does come into play here. Because everyone thinks that Mustache Mountain is going to be that team that really starts off hot in the NXT UK Tag Team Division and really puts the Tag Team Division on the map. Because they are the team that the division could be built around. But then you got the Grizzled Young Veterans, and seeing how far they came, and the fact that they are undefeated, you know, that they're just great heels, you'd think that Mustache Mountain would be better chasing the tag team titles because they are just such great baby faces. They're like underdog baby faces. So it really is a tough match to call down the middle, if you're thinking about it. First off, I think it's going to be very competitive. I cannot wait for it. I think it's going to be a great match. I think we're going to have a lot of innovative spots. Of course, we know that Tyler Bate is a fucking beast in the ring. He's an absolute beast. The guy can do things that, you know, a human should not be able to do. Zack Gibson, by the way, I love Zack Gibson. Zack Gibson is a great heel. He has come such a long way since that first match with Pete Dunne. He put on 2 great matches with Pete Dunne, one in which I was live for. And he, in his own right, has helped James Drake. Because James Drake, he really wasn't anything. He really wasn't anything, and then he joined forces with Zack Gibson, and Zack Gibson has been, you know, pretty much giving James Drake this new sense of relevancy, this new sense of purpose in life. He's almost kind of brought James Drake up to another level. And James Drake is gaining more heel heat thanks to Zack Gibson. I love this tag team between James Drake and Zack Gibson. They put on a great match with Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews on NXT UK just yesterday. So it really is tough to call. It really is tough to call because there's a lot of combustible elements. Because, like, you have to remember, Gallus is still feuding with Mustache Mountain and Pete Dunne, otherwise known as British Strong Style. Gallus, of course, is Mark Coffey, Joe Coffey, and Wolfgang. So you have to wonder if that's going to factor into this match. It really is a tough call, but if I am to call a team to win right down the middle, let me think. I think I'm going to have to go with Mustache Mountain, mainly because of the fact that Triple H, I know he wants to start hot right out of the gate, so I'm assuming that this match is going to kick off the show, and these two teams are going to go out there and absolutely steal the show. They're going to tear the house down, and I believe that Mustache Mountain is going to walk out victorious, and possibly at the next NXT UK TakeOver, whenever that is, I say we are going to see the team of Mustache Mountain taking on Gallus, and Gallus is going to be the next NXT UK Tag Team Champions at some point. At some point, Gallus is going to hold all the gold. At some point. I don't know if it's... I don't think it's going to be now. It could start now, and I will talk about that when we get toward the main event. But right now, I'm calling Mustache Mountain to become the first ever NXT UK Tag Team Champions. Next, Travis Banks versus Jordan Devlin. This is actually the match that I'm most excited for. Jordan Devlin has been a phenomenal heel. If you have not been watching this guy's heel work on NXT UK, you need to. Jordan Devlin has probably become one of my favorites on NXT UK. He's a great heel. The guy can wrestle his ass off any day. He can out-wrestle anyone on that roster. The guy's a great wrestler. The guy is just a cocky prick, and he just calls out anyone. He just doesn't care. He just doesn't care. And that's the best type of heel. A heel that just doesn't care is the best type of heel. And that's what Jordan Devlin has been doing. He just doesn't care. He calls out Travis Banks. Travis Banks is great in his own right. The guy is a great wrestler. I like Travis Banks. I love the match that he had with Zack Gibson back in June of 2018 at that UK tournament special. And Travis Banks, when he gets serious, when he gets really serious and he is really focused, you can expect Travis Banks to come out of the gate swinging. And I think that's what we're going to get with Jordan Devlin. This right here could be the most underrated match of the night. Watch out for this match. If these guys are given 15 minutes, then you could see a show stealer. These guys could kick off the show if they wanted to, but I think they're going to kick off with the tag team title match. Now, this feud could very well continue past NXT UK TakeOver BlackPool. I don't think this is going to be a one-off thing, but if it is to continue past TakeOver BlackPool, then Travis Banks could end up getting his win back, so I'm going to call Jordan Devlin to win. I think Jordan Devlin has been on a roll, and he's only received one loss on NXT UK since the brand started, and that was against Pete Dunne in that phenomenal UK Championship match. If you haven't gone back to watch that, you need to go back and watch it. That was probably one of Pete Dunne's most underrated matches to date. That match was phenomenal. Jordan Devlin, he's opened a lot of eyes, including mine. So I'm going to call Jordan Devlin to win this and possibly continue the feud past TakeOver BlackPool. And Travis Banks, he'll probably get his win back, but I think if this is going to continue past TakeOver BlackPool, I think Jordan Devlin is going to end up winning the feud. Jordan Devlin is actually a good choice to take the title off of Pete Dunne. There's a lot of interesting people that are in good positions to take the title off of Pete Dunne. Joe Coffey could be one of them. Jordan Devlin's one of them. If you wanted to, I mean, maybe Dave Mastiff or Eddie Dennis. You know, I was under the impression that Eddie Dennis was going to take the title off of Pete Dunne, mainly because of the fact that they are showcasing how Eddie Dennis has history with Mark Andrews and Pete Dunne. So that would only kind of register that, okay, at some point, Eddie Dennis is going to cross paths with Pete Dunne. You never know, but Jordan Devlin is doing wonders as a heel, and I'm calling Jordan Devlin to win this match. I think this is going to be a very underrated match. Keep your eye on Travis Banks versus Jordan Devlin, people. Speaking of Eddie Dennis, I mentioned him just moments ago. Let's talk about Eddie Dennis versus Dave Mastiff as well, in a no disqualification match. The first match that these guys had was very good. It was hard-hitting, and it really showcased what Eddie Dennis could really do in a big match situation when you put him in there with a guy like Dave Mastiff. And Dave Mastiff is no pushover. Eddie Dennis really brought it. I, for one, am impressed with Eddie Dennis. Though he hasn't shown too much in the ring, I am very impressed with the intensity that Eddie Dennis brings. As far as Dave Mastiff goes, he's pretty self-explanatory. Dave Mastiff is this guy who is 300 pounds, who can do drop kicks and cannonball sentons like it's nothing. Dave Mastiff is a powerhouse. Dave Mastiff is a beast. And you put these two in a no disqualification match at TakeOver BlackPool, I think that these guys can put on a brutal match. I don't know if they're going to bring chairs or tables into this. It's going to get brutal. There's no rules. These guys can do whatever the hell they want. They're going to be brawling. They're going to be brawling, and they're going to be brawling hard. Now, as far as the winner goes, again, unpredictability factor. Dave Mastiff won the first match. The second match ended in a no contest, which resulted in Johnny Saint making this a no disqualification match. It is very hard to call a winner right down the middle, mainly because of the fact that Eddie Dennis is being built up as an unstoppable force. He only has one loss on his record, and that was to Dave Mastiff. Dave Mastiff is undefeated, and you can make a case for both of these guys to go over. I'm sure I can. I mean, look at Eddie Dennis. The history that he has with Pete Dunne If you're going to build him up to go up against Pete Dunne in the future, I mean, like a win over Dave Mastiff, Dave Mastiff's first loss, that would look really good on the part of Eddie Dennis. And Dave Mastiff himself, he's undefeated. You could still be building him up for a match against Pete Dunne. We're going to see what Pete Dunne could do against Dave Mastiff if you put him against Dave Mastiff in the future. You can make a case for both guys to go over. It really is a tough call. And usually I'm good with this type of shit. But Triple H has really just taken this brand and taken everything that he's been doing. Triple H has been taking everything that he's been doing and he's been making it unpredictable, but a good unpredictable. An unpredictable where you have faith that whoever's in the match, whether they win or lose, they are going places. And that's what I feel this match is. Dave Mastiff and Eddie Dennis, both of them are going places. But who's going to get to that promised land first? It's a tough call. If I was to call a winner here, I think they're going to give the nod to Dave Mastiff. I'm going to give the nod to Dave Mastiff. I think Dave Mastiff is going to put on a brutal match with Eddie Dennis, and Dave Mastiff's going to do the same thing he did last time. I think that we're going to see a chair propped up in the corner against Eddie Dennis and have Dave Mastiff do a cannonball to the chair to Eddie Dennis. That's what I think we're going to see. And I think Dave Mastiff is going to walk away victorious and move on to bigger and better things. Possibly a UK Championship match, you never know. Next, we got the NXT Women's Championship match with Rhea Ripley and Toni Storm. We all know what happened with Toni Storm. I don't really need to go over that. The leaked photos and her deleting her social media. Rhea Ripley has realistically been UK Women's Champion since the end of August. She's been UK Women's Champion for almost 140 days. But WWE is only recognizing her title reign as 45 days, I believe. And that was because Triple H was trying to get a television deal, but he underestimated, the power of the TV providers, or like he overestimated something. I don't know. But regardless, the television deal didn't work out, and so he put NXT UK on the network, and that's why he's been doing 2 episodes every week to catch up on that, because he thought it was going to start almost immediately after the tapings in August, but it was delayed by 2 months. I've been hearing that after NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool, it's going to go back to 1 episode per week, and we're going to be building towards the next NXT UK TakeOver, whenever that is. But as far as this match goes, considering what happened with Rhea Ripley, and considering that her title reign has been recognized as very short, even though she's held it for 5 months, I don't think that they're going to just give Toni Storm a pity victory just because of what happened. I really don't think they're going to do that. I don't think that that would be the right treatment of Rhea Ripley, because Rhea Ripley has come very far, and Rhea Ripley is a great heel. She's a very good heel. She's a brawler type of wrestler. She's great in the ring. She's come into her own as a great heel. And I think that Rhea Ripley is going to be the one to carry the UK brand, the women's division specifically, possibly into the summer. You never know. I don't think that Toni Storm is going to be NXT UK Women's Champion yet. Not yet. The reason why they are putting Toni Storm in this position, it's because it's the first ever NXT UK TakeOver. It is the first ever NXT UK TakeOver, and there is no bigger babyface to go up against the dastardly heel that is Rhea Ripley than Toni Storm. Toni Storm is the biggest babyface that they got on NXT UK. Why wouldn't you put her in a title match on the first ever NXT UK TakeOver? I'm calling Rhea Ripley to win this. I don't think they would just shaft Rhea Ripley's title reign just like that, just because of what happened. I don't think Triple H is like that. Toni Storm is going to be NXT UK Women's Champion? Not yet. It is way too early for Rhea Ripley to lose that title. Rhea Ripley's walking out victorious. And the main event, which has been built up beautifully, and I could not be any more excited for this main event, Joe Coffey versus Pete Dunne for the WWE United Kingdom Championship. Again, this is a very tough match to call. It's a very tough match to call. You take a look at Joe Coffey's heel work since NXT UK TakeOver, not NXT UK TakeOver, NXT UK began. Right from that first match, he won the first ever match on NXT UK. He has been undefeated. He has not been pinned. Joe Coffey has not been pinned throughout the entirety of NXT UK thus far. Joe Coffey has been built up like a beast. Pete Dunne, he's just been biding his time. He's just been biding his time, and he's been given a few title defenses here and there just to bide the time. Now, this right here is what they've been building towards. And Triple H, a lot of people have been criticizing Triple H. A lot of people have been criticizing Joe Coffey, saying that Joe Coffey's not really ready to carry that brand. Have you been watching what he's been doing? Joe Coffey, aside from being a great wrestler, Joe Coffey has taken Mark Coffey and Wolfgang. The Coffey brothers have taken Wolfgang, and they made Wolfgang almost relevant again. Wolfgang was just kind of floating around after the original UK Championship tournament. Now he's joined forces with Mark Coffey and Joe Coffey, and Wolfgang has been on fire lately. Gallus has been such a great heel faction. Gallus has been on NXT UK just wreaking havoc. Just like Joe Coffey says, nobody likes us and we don't care. Again, another instance in where a heel that just doesn't care is the best heel. Joe Coffey and his body of work has been very underappreciated. If you guys have been watching NXT UK, a lot of people have been losing interest just because they're doing 2 episodes per week. NXT UK is fucking awesome. NXT UK is fucking awesome. Joe Coffey and the work that he's been doing has not gotten enough recognition that it should have. Pete Dunne, we all know how great Pete Dunne is, but Joe Coffey, and you take a look at some of the matches that Joe Coffey's been having with the likes of Travis Banks and Mark Andrews, Ligero, even Ligero. Like, a lot of people underestimate Ligero. Ligero is a good wrestler in his own right, but he had a match with Joe Coffey. Great match with Joe Coffey. Joe Coffey, a lot of people were thinking that he was going to be restricted to a tag team just because he has a brother, and his brother's wrestling as well. But his brother ends up tagging with Wolfgang. Joe Coffey's out on his own. Joe Coffey's making history on his own. If they wanted to, they could give the UK Championship to Joe Coffey, and they could build towards Gallus getting the NXT UK Tag Team titles, possibly at the next NXT UK TakeOver. That's how powerful Gallus is slowly becoming. Gallus is going to hold all the gold one day. I don't think this is going to be the day. I really don't think this is going to be the day. I feel as though Triple H, and seeing how hot Pete Dunne has been as UK champion, I don't think Pete Dunne is losing that title possibly until the earliest, I would say, is probably either the summertime or the end of 2019. I really don't see Pete Dunne holding that title, or not holding that title, to 2 years. I think that Triple H is going to get Pete Dunne to 2 years as United Kingdom champion, and when the time is right, I think they're going to pull the trigger on somebody like Joe Coffey. Well, you need a good heel. You need a good heel to take that title off of Pete Dunne, because Pete Dunne, realistically, is way too good to be just in NXT UK. Even just NXT. Pete Dunne is ready for the main roster right now. Pete Dunne is ready for the main roster right now. Pete Dunne could easily go to the main roster, and he would be kicking everyone's ass. That's how legit Pete Dunne is. You put Pete Dunne on the main roster, he could be the face of Monday Night Raw. Face of Monday Night Raw within months. That's how good Pete Dunne is. So I don't think that Pete Dunne is going to be restricted to just NXT UK. At some point, Pete Dunne is losing the title. I don't know if it's going to be at NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool. I think that Triple H is going to wait till Pete Dunne has surpassed 2 years, and then he's going to pull the trigger on someone like a Jordan Devlin, or a Dave Mastiff, or an Eddie Dennis, or a Joe Coffey. I would be very shocked if they pulled the trigger on Joe Coffey right now. Because if Gallus is not in a tag team match, then why would you put the title on Joe Coffey if you're not going to have Joe Coffey and Gallus have that one night where they just dominate everyone and they walk away with all the gold? That is something that I am looking forward to. I want Gallus to have an Evolution type moment. Remember when Evolution had all the gold? That's what I want with Gallus. So I'm going to call Pete Dunne to retain the NXT United Kingdom Championship. And Pete Dunne is going to have a great match with Joe Coffey. It could end up being a match of the year candidate. You never know. Joe Coffey, Pete Dunne has been bringing out the best in people. Look at the match that Pete Dunne has had with the likes of Zack Gibson and Jordan Devlin, Ricochet, Johnny Gargano. I mean, Pete Dunne could end up bringing a match of the year candidate out of Joe Coffey. And I hope he does. This match is going to go like 25 minutes. It's going to be a show stealer. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of The Rundown. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into this video. Do not forget to follow me on Instagram at TheDJStorms. Do not forget to follow me on Twitter at StormsTakeover. Do not forget to leave a comment down below. Tell me your personal predictions for NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool. Tell me what you liked about the video. Tell me what you didn't like about the video. Do not forget to leave that thumbs up. I'm trying to move up in the world. I want you guys to keep hitting that thumbs up until you can't hit that thumbs up anymore. If you're going to give me a thumbs down, Happy New Year. I want you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already hit that subscribe button. And I want you to hit that notifications bell with a slice of heaven. A little shout out to Travis Banks there. I want you to hit that notifications bell with a slice of heaven. That way you know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, it is, of course, the best time to be on YouTube.com. And do not forget, the rundown for the Royal Rumble, that will be up a couple days before the Rumble. Hopefully, I'll be able to do a couple more Storm streams. Storm stream with Ethan from the UK. My boy Ethan from the UK. That is tonight at 8:30 p.m. February 17th, 2019 is the Wrestling Express meetup at Pub 46 in Clifton, New Jersey, starting at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the Elimination Chamber, free of charge. Come on and meet everyone. You'll meet me, you'll meet McGrogan, you'll meet Davidson, you'll meet everyone from Wrestling Express. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm DJ Storms, and this has been The Rundown, and I will catch you later tonight for the 9th Storm stream.